It's Friday. It's 12:30. It's payday. It can only mean one thing. It's time for Something for the Weekend with Jerry Lyons, the PR mogul, the content count, I've run out of superlatives for Jerry, but Jerry, welcome to the show. Say hello to the listeners.
Hello, listener.
Don't give it away. It's only my mum. So, Jerry, tell us, how's your week been?
It's been good. It just sort of time flies, doesn't it? I don't know whether I'm just sort of developing some sort of short-term memory loss, but it just flies. It's been busy. It's been good. It's actually, like the gloom and doom in the market. We've hit our highest membership bit of the club in 2 years. Number of members in 2 years. But the market's supposed to be falling off a cliff. But
so, let's cover the doom and gloom for a second, just very briefly. Depending on who you talk to, you're getting mixed messages. And I suppose that's life in general, isn't it? There's certain people that see the glass being half full. There's certain people that see the glass being half empty, and then there's the rest of them that go, "What glass?" And there's a lot of those out there at the moment. I talk to a lot of agents. I have a great privilege of talking to some fantastic agents up and down the country. And some of them are telling me that they're extremely busy with new instructions and things like that. And I think you get as busy as you make yourself, to be honest. And it's how you approach it. I see the difference. People in two very similar patches, one can be doing this particularly well and being really proactive, and the other might be crying about doom and gloom, and you get the market you pray for, my friends. So if you're preparing to have it good, you'll have it good. I'm a great believer in that. And that's all we got time for. Have a great weekend. Bye.
Adios. It's similar to what I'm hearing, where one of the messages, it's not been anywhere near as bad as people thought January would be. I don't know whether you're hearing that, but I'm hearing that from a lot of guys. And like I said, it's the preparation. It's what people did 6 months ago is indicate what their agency is doing now, or their business, not just agency.
There are definitely opportunities out there, and let's not forget, folks. January, you've been spoiled. You were spoiled by COVID because it gave us a market and a mindset that timings went out the window. We didn't know whether it was Christmas or Easter or it was a bank holiday or not, because we were all pretty much sat at home in our pajamas. But now we've got back to life, and we've got more of a return to like a seasonal market where January is always going to be a little bit more subdued in terms of how the public are feeling, because don't forget, they've spent every penny that they had before Christmas, like we all do. And today being payday, I know I mentioned that at the beginning of the conversation. Why that's interesting is that the January payday always is something that people are longing for, because January can be a very tough month for a lot of people cash flow wise. So let's not sort of lament the loss of a market. It's there. You just need to let them come back to the fore.
Word.
Wow, I'm delivering great value today.
You were dropping truth bombs, David.
Jerry, let's look at another thing. We cover mostly in our discussions how we talk a lot about tone of voice, about getting your content right for your audience. If you don't pitch to the audience that you've got, you're not going to get their attention. You raised something with me today which I think is tremendously important. So we all go about life trying to be as inclusive as possible and making our services accessible to people as possible. So for argument's sake, if you had a step up into your office, are you going to make that wheelchair accessible? Are you going to be able to help people in and out that have additional needs? are we tailoring our physical services to people in that way? The answer is yes. Well, we have to, because that's all about having a safe workplace. But are we tailoring our content that we're putting out to people who also have additional needs in terms of absorbing that content? And we talked specifically about dyslexia, which is something that we don't talk about enough. And you have been concentrating on, and I've read your document that you've told me I cannot share with anyone, and it's dynamite, because it's got in there, you pick up on several of the struggles that people have to absorb it's not one size fits all service in physical reality, and also in terms of the content that we put out there, it cannot be a one size fits all scenario as well.
Yeah. So do you want me? Thank you for.
I've set me
up. You set me up. So do you want me to give you a little bit of background how we got to? Because it wasn't on my radar at all creating.
I would love to, because I know it's a little bit personal. So I'd like you to tell it.
Yeah. So I think it was November. My daughter Charlotte got diagnosed. She's 10 with dyslexia. More the spelling than the reading, and apparently it can affect numbers as well. So I might have a bit of that myself, because I'm used to numbers. But because we can work out, she's really bright, hard-working girl. Her spelling was like, it was off track. And the school said, "Oh, she's got dyslexia." So obviously that makes you read up on stuff when it's your kids. So I read up on it, and then I was reading through this book, and then I saw this stat. Sorry, it wasn't a book. It was a web page, and the stat said they think that at least 10% of people in the UK have dyslexia. At least. This is the British Dyslexia Association. Yeah. So roughly, that's what, 6 million people in this country. Drill those numbers down. Hopefully, they've all got roofs over their heads. Drill the numbers down again. A lot of those people will have homes, or be landlords, or be tenants, or be buyers, or be sellers. A lot of those people. So that got me thinking as well, that I've never seen any estate agency marketing advice that was about how to create content and communications for dyslexic people. Communications is very important, because I think it's more important than content in many ways, because it's more regular. And we've created a guide basically for our members first of all, but my members are a good bunch of people. So what we're going to do is we're going to absorb it within my membership, this guide to how you create content and communications for your clients. But we're going to make it open source in about a month's time. So open source means I'll just go to everyone, you know what, it's for the greater good. Here you are, have it. Some of my rivals copy me anyway, so I just go, yeah, have it. You're a month late. Do you know what I mean? First thing that follows.
I think it's fascinating, because by sharing this sort of thing, it's not just, well, let's face it, even if there are no estate agents watching this, which might be true, but let's say there are people from other industries watching this, we can all get better at making sure that the material that we're putting out there takes into account the viewpoint of their audience in terms of, what they need in order to absorb that, understand it, and make it fit for purpose. Yeah. You cover so many fascinating angles in that paper, because sometimes we make assumptions, and we make the mistake of assuming that people with dyslexia, for instance, don't have a high IQ, or they don't have an understand, that they're not able to understand concepts. It's not that at all, is it?
At all. It's not linked to intelligence at all. And you look at some of the brightest minds in history with dyslexic people, or had learning differences. That's another thing as well, the power of language. Because before they say, "Oh, it's a learning difficulty." I read somewhere said, "No, it's not. It's just a learning difference. You just provide a different way for them to learn," and they'll go, "I get that." It's like Charlotte now. She uses a highlighter pen on a lot of stuff, because for some reason it helps her spell better. Don't ask me why. And there's lots of tips in the guide that we've created, really simple tips. I don't know about you, I thought a lot of them are really simple, like increasing the font, making sure your spacing is correct. Don't use capitals in like large chunks of capitals, stuff like that. So it's quite, I found it really interesting. And also as well, I think it's worth estate agents asking, especially because they go back and forth a lot in a house sale, or even with a landlord relationship. It's asking the client, well, we've got loads of options, maybe or 8 option where if you were dyslexic or would prefer this type of communication, we can do it in video, voice message, and we've got dyslexic friendly fonts. You'd be amazed, I think, that you'd be able to appeal to more people. Appeal to more people. Yeah.
Can you hear my dog barking like crazy in the background?
I think the dog adds a level of authenticity. Is it Amazon at the door?
Remy, come inside. Put the postman down.
What a posh name for a dog,
Good
Remy.
boy.
Remy the posh dog from Manchester.
Remy the rat from Ratatouille. That's who he's named after.
Oh right, okay, yeah. Love that.
He's currently he's got this thing where he likes to, if he hears an ambulance going past or anything with a siren, he starts to howl like a wolf, almost in tune with the ambulance. It's fascinating.
Get him on. If that happens while we're on, get that on. That'll get more.
I think that's great. I think that's great content right there.
But yeah, the dyslexic thing is, and think about it, right? In the cold, right? So estate agents want to attract as many customers as possible, clients as possible. So why wouldn't you? Even target is the wrong word. Help this group of people.
And that is so true. When we talk about accessibility, I'm not just talking about someone's ability to walk up and down a pair of steps. When you talk to businesses, and particularly online businesses, they understand this. But the latest model is that you need to get to the stage where you take away all the barriers to somebody making a purchase with you. Are you making your services as accessible? Are you easy to buy from? So we all know that companies like Amazon, who you mentioned before, or Tesco's or Sainsbury's, there's a science into how you lay your website out, where the calls to action are, and how easy it is to use. The simpler, the better. And as estate agents, sometimes we end up using more words than we need to, and we end up making life too complicated. We think, wrongly sometimes, that people are going to sit through pages and pages of written word and sift through it. Even it doesn't matter whether you've got, learning differences or not. Nobody is going to take the time to absorb every word. So why not make a quicker, simpler version of that available to people in a format that they can absorb when they want to absorb it? So really, it's the podcast argument, isn't it? It's lovely. You can watch it if you want. You can listen to it on your way to work. But it's a way of absorbing information on your own terms.
Yeah, 100%. That's exactly it. But I think by offering the option, and also it's like internally with your teams, has anyone asked, their teams, do you know anyone got dyslexia, or there's a number version of it as well, apparently?
Well, here we go. What's Megan saying? Not ashamed to admit that I'm totally crap with numbers. Before evaluation, I'll even work out all the percentages in money terms because I worry that under pressure, I won't be able to work it all out. I'll have a column listed with all of the outcomes. That's almost like a learning shortcut that you can use in the room. But the truth is, under pressure, do we not all of us become a little bit more? We have our difficulties in communicating sometimes if you're not prepared for it.
Yeah, I guess. But like that point I was making about the team is just ask them, because, and you know what, I look back to when I was at school, and I think that some of the kids I grew up with were smart, but not in a school way, if that makes sense. And I wonder if they were dismissed because they had dyslexia, or they had something like that. But they were just equally as smart as me. They could like think, creative, or like one of them in particular, amazing rapper. Yeah, but his spelling, I remember it, his spelling was like all over the shop. But when he rapped, it was brilliant. So yeah, I just think we came up with it because it was brought to my attention because of Charlotte. But then I thought, wow, this is something. There's two things. It's good for business because you're opening up your offer and what you do to a bigger audience. Yeah, so it's good for business, no brainer, and it's the right thing to do. We want to try and be as inclusive as possible. What we should do. One thing I would know: the crap agents, they ain't going to bother with this because they can barely bother with their websites or their. Do you know what I mean? But it's just another point of difference for the good agents to keep pushing those ones away. And one thing, we were talking about AI last week.
Yeah.
A bit more research, and I actually feel more reassured. But I will say one thing: AI will kill average. If you're average,
Yeah.
AI is coming for you.
Yes.
It's coming for you.
You,
and I'd be scared.
you need to up your game, but don't forget the members of the public as well. Over time, as all this AI stuff starts to come out, at the moment it's kind of clever because you think, oh, that could fool me. But over time, we're all going to be able to spot what generic, straight down the middle AI has put together and what's actually got genuine human.
Well, they've already working on apps that can. Google apparently treats it as spam, so I've read. And there's a guy in America who's created an app. I think he uses AI. It's brilliant to help colleges identify if something's been written using an AI. So there's always this. It's like an arms race there. But it was just there as I was thinking about something. I thought, wow, if you're average, it's going to get you. It is going to get you because it's the exceptional agents or businesses that'll think, right, how do we react to this? I think just become more human.
Average agents and average people thrive in fantastic markets. The last couple of years, no one knew who was average and who was actually decent.
Yeah.
And I believe that the story of 2023 and 24 is going to be about finding out who's actually who walks the walk and who just talks the talk.
Yeah.
And who goes those extra miles. I don't want to mention them again because you have a lot of celebrity agents who rightfully so are elite. So okay, let's mention them again. So you've got Vicky and Assad, you've got people like Luke Sinclair, you've got all the people that are listed as fantastic speakers at your seminar, but these are all people. Spencer,
not a seminar. It's not a seminar. Seminar makes it sound like something the estate agent industry would have a seminar. We ain't doing the seminars, brother. Seminars.
It's a day of fun and inspiration. It's a day of learning. Come fill your boots with money.
It's not a seminar. It's like I read somewhere, a steering group applied to something. I thought, oh my god.
Okay.
Did you imagine if somebody said, David, do you want to be on a steering group? That would only appeal to me if it was something like where you got to drive a double decker.
Yes, I'd love to.
That'd be good.
Oh, I'd love to try that. Yes, it'd be good.
Like that.
No, but going back to it, all those people like Spencer at Paramount as well. These are all agents who they are going above and beyond. They are exceptional, and they're not average. And you can spend your time trying to keep up with them by looking less than average. But why not? You have to put the hard work in, and you have to make sure, because a lot of us are probably sat there going, well, do I really need to rewrite this so that it's available to a wider audience? Or do I just shoot down the middle because I know my core audience have always been the same people? No, widen your net, link up with people that you haven't been able to reach before, but go the extra step, because what you do for that customer will also suit all your other customers as well, because you're taking down the barriers to them using you as an agent, to them understanding the language that you are speaking to them as an agent as well. Immensely important. So, Jerry, how are you going to make this available to as many people as possible, and when?
Well, first of all, I'll give it to my members for a month. I put it in the WhatsApp group and Facebook today, so it's out there, and I'll send it out on Monday. Amanda will Tuesday. And then we'll just give it over. We'll just put it out there and go, look, it's here. Take it.
Use it.
Yeah, but because my point is, and this is based on experience, all the information to be really good at anything you do is out there if you're willing to work and read it and think and do the testing phase and pull your hair out because it's not right and you're getting it wrong and all this. It's all out there. The best in any businesses will act upon that, and their teams will be motivated enough to act upon whatever they've been given that will improve them. Like we said, the average ones will go, and that'll never work. That's an answer. That's, how many times have I can I can remember being told that about Twitter. I was working in a PR department at the time. Somebody said Twitter. This is going back 12 years, maybe longer. That'll never work. That'll never work. You know why though? I think they said it never worked because we would have to do work around it. We would have had to learn about it, and that's why I think this one guy in particular said that'll never work. We're not doing it.
But you know what? We talked about some of those celeb agents and exceptional people, but you don't need to be a high-profile celeb. All you need to do is outwork the other people around you, and you're always going to come out on top.
And like Vicky, the Virus Location said, and I never forget it, is we won't be outworked and we won't be outlearned.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah. As soon as I heard it, I scribbled it down.
Oh, yeah.
Went up to my teacher and said that. Oh, yeah, we won't be outworked and we won't be outlearned.
But genuinely, I think never being outworked, I think that is probably one of the greatest lessons that you can ever learn in business and in life. If you're willing to outwork your competition, you'd be amazed at how quickly people give up when it's hard work involved. We're all looking for shortcuts, and a lot of what we offer to people on a day-to-day is to sort of give them back their time and find shortcuts. But for certain elements, there's just no substitute for that hard graft.
Yes, it's true. Do you want to know the Kobe Bryant rules for success?
I do. I think that's where we should. I think that's how you should leave us for the weekend.
Right. So I've got it on. It's called a display. It's a thing. There's a magnet you stick to the wall, David, and it's a metal poster. That's the future. Metal posters. So you stick it to the wall, and I've got Bryant's 10 rules. Amazing guy, Kobe Bryant. God rest his soul. Number 1, work on your weakness. Number 2, study success. Number 3, push through the pain. Number 4, have a strong purpose, David. Number 5, I love this one. Be a great teammate. Number 6, nurture good relationships. That's like us. Number 7, focus on one thing. Not like us. 8, work the hardest. 9, be a problem solver. And 10, and it really makes me think of you, have fun.
Hey, if you're not having fun, you're doing it wrong. That is the truth. Life is way too short to just be grumpy and worky the whole time. You've all got families. You've all got people that love you. Go and love them back. Have fun with them. Make someone smile today. Be someone's reason to smile today. And on that note, I'm going to wish you all a wonderful weekend. Jerry, can you tell us what you're doing this weekend?
We're going to go and buy a bathroom tomorrow, apparently. Bathroom in the ensuite, and then football, and then Charlotte's got a football match, and then we're going to watch Brighton versus Liverpool and beat them again. So Simon Well will be sad.
Okay, can I ask you what kind of a man you are? Are you, when you need to go shopping for a bathroom for your ensuite, are you a yes dear man? Or are you like, no, it's really important for me to have the shower like this and like that and the other? Or are you going to leave it to Wendy like a male stereotype? Where are you?
I'm not going to leave it to Wendy. I'll get involved to a certain point, and I'm a trust person. I like to think, right, these guys, we're going to pay them, they're experts, because we're getting the bathroom designer to do it, yeah? We're not going to go and nick his idea or her idea, and then, like that classic thing people do sometimes. Yeah. We're going to go to this bathroom designer with the measurements, say, tell us what to do, give us ideas. So they're going to give us ideas, and then we're just going to go to the guy who does our plumbing, and he's going to sort it out. That's it. I don't like the fuss.
Sub-question, what are you looking for in a shower? Are you a detachable head sort of man? Because you like to sort of have a quick flush down there? Or are you a multi-jets? Do you want jets coming out of do you want buttons you can push? Do you want to feel like you're Captain Kirk getting into the turbo lift? What is it that you're looking for in a shower?
Oh, just warm.
Just warm water, please.
Yeah, it doesn't even have to be hot.
What's your water pressure like?
It's all right. Not all that. It's not without.
Jerry, I've asked you 2 or 3 questions there, and all of your answers indicate that you're a person that's not given this enough thought. So now, when you walk into that shower showroom on Sunday or Saturday with Wendy and the family, you walk in there and you say, "Look, I've thought about this. Water pressure is extremely important to me. Can you help me?" All right.
That's going to be my opening line tomorrow.
Well, with a head of hair like that, you don't want soap suds staying in it all day, do you? It's going to dry it out, Jerry. You need to make sure you get good coverage. Everybody at home, have a wonderful weekend, and we will see you again next week, Jerry. As always, you are.
Read the dirty. Adieu.